most Taiwanese students struggle to use English in the real world, and they definitely don't understand a lot of what goes on in movies. The language of the streets, of bars, of schoolyards, of movies and film. Remember that English is flexible. When I'm hanging out with my friends or colleagues and discussing real things, I use informal language all the time. The truth is, my buddies and I don't speak like robots out of an English textbook. Hello, how are you today? Hey, what's happening out there? Professor Justin is back. Sorry. If you don't follow my YouTube channel, Justin in Taiwan, you probably don't know who I am. So look, I'm a professor at one of Taiwan's best national universities. Yeah, really. I've been teaching English and philosophy in Taiwan for almost 30 years. Since I started my YouTube channel in January 2021, do you know what people ask me the most? They want to know where I teach and if they can attend my university classes. Actually, I don't know why. I'm just speaking my mind on YouTube. Anyway, you may not be able to attend my university classes, but now you can take the ultimate online English course. There is nothing like this anywhere else because there's only one Prof. Justin. You don't need to drive your scooter to a cram school. You don't need to deal with annoying classmates. It's just you and me, anytime, anywhere. Just open Jella's app, log into subtitles off, and you get 55 hours of me. It's going to be epic. Or it might be hell, for real. Over the last 30 years, I've taught thousands of students. And the one thing I have noticed is that most Taiwanese students struggle to use English in the real world. And they definitely don't understand a lot of what goes on in movies. My team and I have spent over 1,000 hours to make subtitles of the most complete course on informal language and swear words ever. This course could not be taught at university, nor would any school or cram school teacher dare to teach it. Most native English speakers don't speak Chinese, making it very difficult to explain slang to Chinese speakers. Before I continue telling you about this unique course, let me ask you a few questions. First, I know that by now you probably have basic English ability. You've studied English in schools or cram schools, and you've learned the formal or so-called standard ways of speaking English. That's great, and it's important. But did you ever notice that native English speakers in film and on the streets of America, the UK, Australia, Canada, and South Africa don't speak English the way you learned it? Do you find yourself scratching your head because you hear English words used in ways that make no sense? Are you confused when English speakers laugh at things that happen in movies that leave you feeling cold? Here's the fact. Native English speakers use English all the time in ways that nobody ever taught you or dared to teach, at least not until I decided to do it. As a professor, it's my job to publish English articles and books, and I'm supposed to speak in a formal manner with my colleagues. But this isn't how we speak in the real world, unless we're trying to impress somebody with our intelligence. When I'm hanging out with my friends or colleagues and discussing real things, I use informal language all the time. We all do, believe me. The truth is, my buddies and I don't speak like robots out of an English textbook. Hello, how are you today? Or, it's a pleasure to meet you. What's your name? I'm not saying that's wrong, okay? I'm just saying it's just not the way I speak with my friends. I'm going to say things like, what's happening? Or, what's going down? Or, it's rad to meet you. And even in formal situations, we use informal language. Look, I'll never forget attending an international conference when the UNESCO chair of future studies, a very famous professor, said fuck during the conference. And you know what? Everybody loved it because we all say dirty words sometimes. English is like art. You don't have to paint in the lines to make something interesting or beautiful. Slang sets you free. So if you've got some basic English ability, then you are ready to learn what subtitles of will teach. The language of the streets, of bars, of schoolyards, of movies and film. I'll remind you, informal English isn't always rude. It's the English of real people doing real things in the real world. I couldn't think of a better way to teach informal English and slang than by analyzing how it appears in popular movies, TV shows, and stand-up comedy. You can learn and understand so much about how Americans and Westerners speak by studying film. That is why I decided to make subtitles off. And I can guarantee that this course is like nothing any other professor has had the guts to teach. Making a course like subtitles off is only possible if someone, like me, has a deep understanding of English colloquialisms, slang, and swear words, and can explain them in Chinese and English to you. That is what I'm going to do and what you will be able to use when you finish subtitles off. I'm going to teach you how to use so much real-world informal English, consisting of slang phrases, colloquialisms, swear words or dirty words, innuendo, private parts, and yeah, even sex. By the end of subtitles off, you won't be surprised why nobody ever taught this before, because some of the vocabulary and phrases would probably get your teachers fired. But you will also realize why slang is so important to learn. You will better understand English as it is spoken by native English speakers in formal and informal situations. And you will understand the dialogue and humor of movies and TV shows without relying on the often wrong translations that always make me laugh. But hey, before I carry on, you may be asking yourself if this course is only going to focus on dirty words. Or maybe you think this professor is just looking for an excuse to swear at his students and say dirty words in public. Of course not. Okay, well look, maybe just a little. I've got to confess, some of this vocabulary will be embarrassing for me to teach. But if I don't do it, who will? Although you will learn to understand informal English, slang and swear words and connect them to different situations, you will also learn so much more. Subtitles Off has 16 carefully designed lessons of 160 units and is at least 55 hours long. Do you know how much you would have to pay a professor for 55 private one-on-one English lessons? Basically, I'd be able to buy a Tesla. Okay, look, I'm kidding. Back to the lessons. Remember, because I speak Chinese, I will mix Chinese and English instruction to make sure that you understand exactly what is going on. There will also be subtitles available, so you can study in private. Roughly 23 of the 160 units focus on dirty words or swear words and sex. They cover almost all the rude vocabulary you will ever hear spoken by English speakers on the streets of America and on film. You will learn around 300 to 400 key dirty words and their variations. And somehow, I'm going to have to try and keep a straight face while teaching this stuff. The units on swear words always appear at the end of each lesson. So if you don't want to learn them, you can skip them and focus on the remaining 137 units, which are safe for the whole family and extremely practical. Each lesson has a practical theme that is developed through 10 funny units focusing on typical situations using the informal language from film. I will also teach you the more standard usage so that you are prepared for formal and informal situations. Isn't that great? Remember that English is flexible, so informal and formal language merge together. I decided to approach teaching informal language the same way that I analyze and systematize information for my academic work. But I've made it practical and it's fun. You will learn how to use approximately 1,000 plus informal vocabulary and phrases from carefully designed short dialogues based on 10 popular films and shows. I took vocabulary from the scripts of Always Be My Maybe, Bridesmaids, Kick-Ass 1 and 2, Ted, Deadpool, The Hangover, and all 8 episodes of Emily in Paris Season 1, as well as Ali Wong's stand-up comedy, Baby Cobra. Hey, even if you're a guy, it's hard not to love Emily in Paris. It's the romantic equivalent of Squid Game. If you want to see how the lessons are designed, now feel free to try some of my trial units. You will learn how to communicate in real situations through funny units that deal with the practical situations, descriptions, feelings, or actions that my characters Deadpool, Ted, and Emily find themselves in. Look, I have a few more things to tell you before I close this introduction. Research shows that people learn best when information is provided in an organized and logical progression that keeps their attention. Repetition and practice are incredibly important if you want to be able to use what you learn. So subtitles off will repeat earlier information in new dialogues. There will also be many opportunities to practice using the language and formal examples. And of course, because you're at home, you don't need to be shy because nobody's going to laugh at you. And if you have any questions for me, go to our course Facebook page. I'll make sure to respond. One more thing. Association is one of the big secrets to remembering information. Association takes new information and connects it with something you already know. So you put something new with something old. Hey, maybe you've heard that greeting, "What's up?" before. I'm confident you all know what means, and I'm confident you know what up means. Putting those two words together literally means in Chinese, 什么东西往上. But who could possibly guess that what is up actually means, how are you? One way to remember this meaning is through association. For example, if I ask you, what is going up? You could think about what goes up and how it makes you feel. Like if your salary goes up, you feel good. And of course, if you watch Deadpool or some other age-restricted movie, then we all know that when we are feeling up, it means we are feeling good. And this is sometimes connected with sex. But I'll leave that for our special units. I know that you may be thinking you are not ready for a course on informal language. As a professor who has taught more students than I can remember, I know that if you have basic English ability, you will be able to handle this course and be benefited by it. Subtitles Off is not only about some special informal language, but about the language that we use every day. And the good news is that although English has many informal words and swear words, there is a limit to how many you need to know. For example, most dirty words are simple variations. Go and check out my lesson 1.10 and 1.11 to understand this. Finally, I can promise you that Subtitles Off is like no other English course you have ever taken. It's different, it's exciting, and it's going to challenge you in a fun way. At the end, you will understand what is going on in videos and have a better idea of how English speakers really speak. My goal for you is that by the end of Subtitles Off, you will be ready to turn off Chinese subtitles, at least sometimes, and understand what's going on, even when your friends don't get it. And if you ever wondered what all those dirty words really mean, after Subtitles Off, you will know the answers. You'll be able to walk the streets of the US and know what people are saying about you and about others. I know that Subtitles Off is the most complete and most accessible course of informal English and slang ever made for Chinese speakers. I also know that there is no professor in the world who has dared to teach this. I dare to do it, and you will thank me for it. You get my 30 years of teaching experience and thousands of hours of designing Subtitles Off for a ridiculously cheap price. I know we're gonna have fun together. Hey, and remember, what happens in Subtitles Off stays in Subtitles Off. Or you can take it into the real world. I really don't mind. So if you're ready, go and check out a few of my trial lessons like Lesson 1, Unit 1, Under Pressure. Then, if you're ready to understand swear words, check out Lesson 1, Unit 10, Time to Get Dirty, Basics of Swearing, or Lesson 1, Unit 11, Everything is Shit. See you soon.